Hi guys, today I'd like to show you my tulip bulbs blooming in early May. And let's start with a central flower bed that still doesn't have a finished look. In April, there was a time for crocus and other early blooming bulbs show, and now it's the best time for tulips. This year I have about 20 tulip varieties in my garden. Some of them are blooming their first year in my garden, as my mom gifted them to me last September. We bought several varieties last fall, and the great amount of them I transplanted from 3 rows of a temporary flower bed. I tried to plant tulips in clusters of 5 and 10 bulbs all around the garden, and this first year experience is quite good and inspiring. As you can see, all the tulip bulbs differ in their shape, structure, and color. I haven't planned anything special with colors to match the neighboring tulip clusters, just planted them in places I found free from any perennials. As you can hear, we have the strong wind blowing practically all the time in spring. And this is tiresome and unpleasant, as you can't do many gardening deeds where it's not comfortable for you. More than that, such strong winds are dangerous for my plants, as the blooming period is shortened, and the plant foliage and stems suffer and can be broken. And this is a lovely ground cover blooming in early May, a moss phlox. I have 3 varieties but want more. Another spring bulbous plant is a mosquerie. Being planted in clusters or waves in my case, they look amazing, yeah? Spring bulbs create a lovely atmosphere in April and May, when most of the perennials are only starting to grow from soil. As a result, tulip bright colors catch our attention, make us feel happy, and at the same time they fill the space and we don't pay attention to bare soil in front of us in the garden. And this is my mixed border along the fence line, where I also planted some tulip bulbs in between the herbaceous and evergreen perennials. In some places, I planted ordinary red tulips, and they are the first ones to start blooming. Some more moss phlox of a blue color. It looks airy and very refreshing. And again, red tulips that I need to transplant into my circle orchard, as in my orchard I made a mistake and some of the tulips are small ones that bloom in mid-May, but not in early May. As you see, tulips are bending all the time due to the wind. But I think I can help my plants a little by filling the space in between the fence and ground with the soil. At least I can eliminate the wind flow at the ground level. My mixed border is full of tiny plants showing out of the ground like dots. And I understand, for lots of people this scenery is not an appealing one. But as for me, I like to look at the garden at its start, with nothing to show at the beginning and small changes year by year. This is how a garden with no budget starts from zero. And I like such a story. This angle is full of pink and purple tulips. Wonderful! I need to add some soil here and close the hole between the fence and the ground with sand, as I've partially done already, to get rid of this strong wind blowing all the time. And this mixed border side is more filled with iris varieties than the tulip ones, but still some of them are present. The goal for this gardening season is to maintain the flower beds and all the plantings I have. I want to cover the ground with pine needles if possible, as it will help to water the plants less and pull out the weeds less too. And this angle is not filled with plants to the full, so I want to add some more perennials and ground covers as the garden season progresses. The mixed border is finally mixed with a circle orchard, thus all the garden zones are logical and interchangeable. And this tulip blooming has grown out of the bulbs I planted last spring from cut tulips. Probably next year some more color will bloom too. Spring is a lovely season.